Well, hello, everybody, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind. Today was a day, I don't know, let's bring in the panel. We got Nick Savage. We've got Jared Schultz. Guys, what kind of show was today?
Jared, you go first.
The show was just the reflection day. And I honestly, the show made me feel better because we were able to share our grievances together.
What is this, George Costanza and, Festivus for the rest of it? You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
I do not know it.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why you did the courtesy laugh. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, he hit the nail on the head, but it was a little bit of basketball hype in there. That's going to make the rewind, by the way. But
It should. Yeah, so we did talk hoops. Today's the first game. Looking forward to that. Billy Liucci was in studio for an hour and 41 minutes. Just made that time up around that time. It was great. We talked about all things. Yes, coaching, the future, all that stuff. All wrapped into one. Damontre Moore gave us a thought. And we had OB. Here, no cap with OB. I don't know if that's what you meant. No, he's just talking. Never mind. You'll see the graphic. It's TexAgs Rewind.
Look, to me, it underscores that the problem with this team is not talent. Let's just put it out there. This is a poorly coached team.
What goes to the question from Cat D11 Ag on the TexAgs chat. Question for you and OB. What is missing in terms of leadership of the program that prevents this team from winning close games? We keep hearing about execution. Are they too tight? Are they scared to win? Here's my assessment, and I'll just use Ole Miss as an example. They out-schemed A&M. They knew what A&M was good at. They got the ball out of Jackson Dart's hands. They also used some plays to create confusion, and guys were open. And not just one time. There was guys completely open on several occasions.
I also see sometimes when they weren't open, they still made plays because, and I guess everybody in football now, maybe this is a common thing, but A&M's DBs rarely, it seems to me, and someone, if y'all want to educate me, please do. But when I'm watching, I see A&M play, DBs rarely make a play on the ball. They typically, in fact, I don't even know if they ever turn to see the ball. It seems like every time I'm seeing, or it seems like every time, I'm surely it's not, but like on go routes and things like that, they're trying to run with the receiver. And then
I've noticed that too.
But they never turn. And there are times when maybe you could knock the ball down if you turn and looked for it. Maybe they're coached to say, hey, just run with the receiver. When the receiver puts his hands up, try to get your hand where the receiver's hands are. I know that, they try that, but I would like to see, I would feel better if you just turn and try to swipe at the ball. Maybe you'd get an interception here and there. Maybe you'd knock the ball down.
Well,
but again, I think this is a poorly coached team.
Yeah. And I can't argue with it because you are what your record says.
Not to be the bearer of bad news, but this was just completely undisciplined football. I guess we can start off with the Shamar Turner question. Like, I understand somebody, rubbing their stuff across your face and playing dirty and stuff like that. I'm a D lineman. I've been down there in those trenches. I know how frustrating it can get. And also, I've been that impulsive guy, the guy that was always known for being a hothead. So I don't know if it was just a temporary moment. We're going to chalk it up to that. But anytime that you lose your best player, the person that's wreaking havoc on the game, to an injection, that should tell you that's undisciplined either on him or maybe on his teammates not being able to reel him back in. The one thing is, when I was out there, and I'm not about to sit there and say I had the best temperament, but I had great teammates around me like Spencer Neely, Sean Porter, those other guys that were able to bring me back in and say, hey, D-Moore, you're going a little too far off the deep end. And somebody should have been able to be able to help him, because that really hurt us once he got out there. And then another observation would be offense just took way too long just to get going. We had a horrible turnover that nearly ended the game before it even started in the second half. And we got to learn to just stop shooting ourselves in the foot. A lot of these mistakes that we've shown in the big time games against the Alabamas, Ole Miss and stuff like that, it's been a lot of stuff of us either shooting ourselves in the foot, a lack of discipline on a technique assignment, or just being misplaced out of a gap. And we need to learn how to play complete football. All three phases, offense and defense, everybody working together.
You are what your record is, right? So you are, in theory, just above 500, right? And was it 6-12 in your last 18 games? So that's who you are,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's who you've been.
Who you've been. and who you still remain.
If this was, I said it yesterday, if in a vacuum, losing on the road to the number 11 team on the final snap of the game, it's life in the SEC. And it's like, we're right there. We're legit. Like, you just played the number 10 team even. Bama's ranked what right now?
I don't even know.
You played them damn near even. You know, they were better that day, barely. Whatever you want to call it. A guy stepping out of bounds by an inch.
Bama's 8 in the AP.
Jalen Milroe making an incredible play where he somehow gets rid of the ball and the guy catches it with his knee barely off the, whatever you want to call it. You were right there with the number 8 team. You were the final play against the number 10 team. But that's not in a bubble. I mean, in a vacuum or a bubble, whatever you want to put it in, whatever kind of encasing you want to put it in. But in a vacuum, that looks fine. But it's 5 straight to the Mississippi schools. It's 6-12 in your last 18 against Power 5. It's 9 straight on the road. It's 10-11, since the start of last season. All of those things are unacceptable. Doesn't even begin to describe it. That's Jimbo would have to sit here and say, yeah, that's not what everyone's paying for. There's no way, and he wouldn't. He might not want to give in to the media trying to get him to stand up there and say, but reality-wise, he goes home and probably sits at that office last night till the wee hours saying, this is not good enough. This is not what I'm being paid to do. And he probably would sit there and look at a million things and go, God, if they would have just done this, or if I can keep a quarterback healthy, I mean, who else has to do?
We're going to get into a lot of football the rest of the hour, but I did want to talk some basketball because the season does start today. My buddy, the coach, Tom Schuberth, has a scouting report for this game. If you're looking for that kind of intel, go to the premium boards, number 15, Texas A&M versus A&M Commerce today. Tonight at 7 o'clock, it'll be on the SEC Network Plus obviously at Reed Arena. Hopefully you guys can go pack Reed. Super excited about this season. Super excited about this week. Ohio State on Friday.
It's a big game right off the rip. And tonight's a big game because it's the opener. And these are games, early on in the season, you have to win. Look, you can see Texas A&M Commerce, and you think, I know nothing about them. I'm going to read Tom's scouting report. But, man, I'll tell you what, you see games all over the country this time of year. Normally don't end in an upset. Every once in a while they do. But typically, everywhere in the country this time of year, you see games closer than you'd expect against these kind of teams. Whether it's halftime, whether it's late game, you're going to see them around college basketball these first couple weeks. If you're A&M, you hope you avoid that, and that's what having. I think more than anything, having veterans on your team, a veteran roster like A&M's got, veterans in the paint, veteran guards in particular. That's those teams that are built to overcome these type of early season contests and get you through them without that, what would be incredibly damaging blemish, and in most instances keep you from playing tighter than expected games as well. And when they are tight, early second half or something, you can pull away. So I like this team's makeup in terms of that. What I'm interested to see is how good a basketball can they play early in the season, because we've seen them struggle the last couple seasons early.
Yep.
Particularly last year. The year before, I don't think they struggled.
I think they were really good in non-conference.
They didn't really play anyone.
Right.
That was the gripe.
And then they struggled to start off SEC
They
play.
lost that TCU game, and then they struggled to start. But last year, struggling early. That can't be the case this year. Buzz has acknowledged that. He understands the challenging is an understatement, schedule they've put together. I think that's why he was pretty excited to open up by playing against Texas Tech and Baylor.
Yeah.
Two really, these are two
quality programs.
It's a national championship program.
All right, people. You know what to do after you watch these videos. The numbers have been low recently, but they were back high today.
Well, I think, as they people are angry, so they tend to chime in when they're angry, which we appreciate. We appreciate any interaction, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But yeah, don't stop watching just because things don't go your way.
Yeah, and like, comment, subscribe. Jared, anything else?
And post that notification bell, or press the notification bell.
You can post it too if you want.
Great observation there. Jared, thank you. We'll see you next time.